Strut newsreel, bringing you the latest and loudest and loftiest Chanticleer headlines. Tonight's top story: basketball brilliance abounds. The Coastal men are muscling through matchups with pace, pressure, and purpose, while the women continue their surge with savvy sets, stubborn defense, and scoreboard swagger. Two teams, one courtly chorus of confidence. On the diamond, stop the presses. Baseball buzz is booming. Bats are bold, arms are assertive, and expectations are officially enormous as another spring of teal tinted promise peaks over the horizon. And now to the desks. Chili, me, wordsmith in chief, curator of cadence, and captain of clever commentary. Joe, remember that one. Info Joe, the silver voiced scribe, spinning stats into sentences and history into headlines. And TD, delivering hard hits, hot takes, and the occasional typographical turbulence. This has been your fast talking, fast paced, hyperbolic highlight from the front lines of Chanticleer Sports. Adjust your dials, steady your signals, and stay right there. This is The Strut. And Joe, TD, everybody, The Strut is brought to you tonight by Dan Sign Realtor with Dunes Realty Sales in Garden City Beach. Dan's a proud CCU alum, class of 2001. Whether buying, selling, or investing along the Grand Strand, Dan combines local knowledge with proven results to help you make your best move. From oceanfront condos to family homes, he's your go to resource for Myrtle Beach real estate. Visit dansignrealtor.com or call 843 455 6319. Dan Sign, real estate done right, helping you find your place at the beach. Guys, I feel like we haven't done this in months. Joe and I did the show 2 weeks ago. We took last Monday off. TD, I think you're on part time status now. Just joking. But guys, it's good to have the team back together. We're going through some basketball, we're going through some baseball, some other stuff. But first and foremost, I'm tired after the last 2.5 minutes of talking. Joe, can you just like talk for a minute? I kind of need something to drink right now.
Hey, we had Coach Pedersen on 2 weeks ago, right? Did
Yeah,
we congratulate him on winning 500 games?
we did not.
Did
I
that?
think it happened after. Did we see him before or after that?
I can't remember if
I
we
think it
did it
happened
live
after the
or not.
pod. I think he won it after the pod.
Okay.
It was right after, like within a day or two, I think he had won it.
Okay, good. I was going to say, I did. Did we miss that somehow or another? Because there's
He
no
got
way
it
we
right
could have.
after.
Okay, all right. Because I felt
Yeah.
kind of bad. I thought we did not have him on and not congratulate him on winning 500 games. But what a great interview that was. That was good to have Coach Gray and Coach Pedersen on back-to-back pods. So
Yeah. Y'all were too busy talking about old school Riz, man. That's what the kids call it now, man. Riz. Don't my kids are probably cringing right now because I said it that way. But that's flirting or charisma, or I think it's short for I don't know, man. It's Riz. You got to have the Riz nowadays.
Joe knows about it.
I got a shirt that has the Rizzler on it just for my kids, and they love it. And I'm getting another that has Riz 6-7 on it with
Oh,
ice cream on it. My youngest daughter's really gonna love when that comes in.
that's too funny, man.
That's what you like about Joe. He just keeps it real.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what Joe. He just keeps it real.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hey, tell your kids, TD, that I got some bus and drip in for the new year.
My son know exactly what you're talking about, man. That
I got some. I'm gonna bust up into bus and drip.
bust up in the drip, man. That's especially when it comes to baseball, man. That's that whole they got a whole line out there for drip, man. And I told him we not a drip family. We tape up the wrists, no gloves on the bat, go out there and just hit from both sides and steal bases and hit it into the alley and put pressure on them. You know, that's what we're gonna do. Which we start
TV,
up.
that reminds me of a famous coach who once complained about having too many cats and not enough dogs. Looking at your wristbands, how do I look in the mirror, all that kind of stuff. That's what that kind of sounds like.
Yeah, look, I agree with Dion with some things, but look good, feel good, play good, right? Coach Beard even said that on the pod. It does matter, but you can almost worry about looking good too much. And you know, late season jab, that's what Carson Beck was worried about too much, looking good, feeling good. And Indiana just went out and played good. And so I know we hadn't been on since then, but or hadn't.
Can you believe? Can you
Kurt
believe
Cignetti.
that you know what, that sucker won a national championship 2 years after he comes? That sucker wins a national championship, for crying out loud. I'm sitting there watching that. I'm going, this is the dude that was in our league just a couple of years ago, and now he's holding up cell phones to the officials saying, this is what you missed. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. Hilarious. And that dude goes and wins the national championship.
So here's a question, Joe. Now, did that make you want to pull for him because we have experiences with him, or did you root against him for the same reason?
I pulled for him. I pulled for Indiana. I pulled for Indiana. I'll be totally honest with you. I pulled for Indiana. I love Mendoza. You know, kid is just, you know, I love what, you know, how he carries himself, conducts himself, how he plays, you know, plays so hard, you know, and I like just a lot of things I like about Mendoza. Cignetti, I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, you know, 2 years ago he's getting paid $475 at JMU. Now he's winning a national championship and getting 14 mil or whatever it is at Indiana. It's just crazy, right? I mean, yeah, I hate to say it, I pulled for him, but you know,
I enjoyed the fact that all the national championship advertising had Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia, and Alabama, and Oregon, and it had 6 or 8, 9 brands, and that was about it. Texas, and none of them got there, right?
Yeah.
None of them got there. And you know what?
great.
Watching, you know what? In the whole topic of conversation about breaking 95 scholar or now 100 plus scholarship teams into 2 different sub brackets. Same thing talking about it. And I made a post a couple weeks ago about the, you know, right after our last pod that I was on, about how they're talking about maybe separating a lot of major sports like that to give the little guys a chance. Let me tell you what's going to give little guys a chance is the portal and NIL is giving little guys a chance. You go out and see schools that have alumni that want to get engaged. You have schools that have communities that have sports that they really love, right? Coastal baseball is one of them, right? We love all our sports, but coastal baseball is one of them. And that's a sport that, you know, if they get their way, Coastal's never going to make it to Omaha, right? They'll make it to some other site, right? I don't know if you saw that article that Baseball America had, and NCAA was kind of part of it about, you know, is it best for the game? No, what's best for the game is let the kids go play. What's best for the game is go enforce the rules. What's best for the game is put some guardrails on the portal, which inherently will put guardrails on NIL, right? Something we've said on this. But I want it noted on this, on January 26th of 2027, TD said it.
You seeing this next year?
Kirk Cignetti will be the head coach of Alabama football 1 year from now.
There's the crystal ball, Joe. There it is.
He was there for 4 years. He's got Saban's blessing. Rob DeBoer goes out and has a season even incrementally better than what he did this year. It's not going to be good enough. It's not going to be good enough.
Kalen.
DeBoer,
Yeah. Kalen, yeah.
What did I say?
You said Rob DeBoer, who I think is a Gamecock running back.
He was running back, yeah. But Kalen DeBoer, thank you. But Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, another 10-win season where they don't look remotely competitive against the top 10 teams in America. They will buy him out and usher in Kirk Cignetti for about 4 years and then go wait and try to pick up somebody in the market. That's another Saban disciple that could come there. And I'm telling you, I've got my brothers down in Alabama. It's already, the chatter has already started, man. Like 10 wins is not good enough. So, but anyways.
I was thinking, TD and Joe, about the championship game like y'all were. And on that same topic, I'm in the hallway at school and we were talking about the matchup, right? And there's people who are pulling for, you know, the 2 teams for whatever reason. I said, I feel like I got a little bit of inside scoop on just what's going to happen in the championship game because of our experiences with Coach Cignetti, which is why I asked that question, Joe, about based on your experiences, were you in favor or against him, or you're pulling for him or pulling against him, basically? And I came back to this. I think the man is just too good to stay at Indiana. He was too good to stay at JMU, and I don't care as far as like he was an opponent. We don't like James Madison on this podcast or as Coastal, but the guy's good. There's no doubt about it. And I told somebody at school or before the championship game, like, the cat is too good. I don't think you're going to outcoach him right now. I think he's that kind of guy that he's got his finger on the pulse of what he needs, what he wants, the style of play he's trying to get to happen. And I just think that, Coach Cignetti is right now, I don't want to say he's the best coach in America because I really don't want to give him that much credit, but he just won the national championship. He's the top dog right now. TD, I don't think you're wrong on that either. I think that's not too far off because of his coaching tree and him working under Saban. So I think that makes a lot of sense too.
He's figured something else out too. And again, we'll get back on the Coastal here, but you got to give credit's due. It's something too that a lot of schools like Coastal and others can navigate towards. And I think if you look at what Coach Beard's doing, he's kind of setting some things up that way. He and I traded some text about that. The average age of the player starting at Indiana is almost 22 years of age, a little over 22 years of age. The average starter at Miami was like 18 and a half. He had about a 3-year difference on guys. And he got guys that knew they were coming there for 2 years. They were older, maybe not NFL guys. I mean, you go look at their starting defense. Their starting defense was made up a bunch of FCS guys and G5 guys sprinkled in with a couple guys that fell through the cracks and fell at Indiana. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to kids. Maybe they were just a Jerome Simpson, who was a 1-star from Reidsville, North Carolina, that was a 3-sport state champion that nobody really took a flyer on, and Coastal did, and then boom, look what happened, And so he's figured something out that Indiana's not for everybody and everybody's not for Indiana, but what is, go get kids with 2-3 years experience who have worked to get into that position and who will work to prove that they are worth that position. And that's exactly what you did. You go get a bunch of hungry dudes that are their attitude and their effort are relentless. I mean, he talks about that, right? I mean, it's some statistics that they have about the age difference. I mean, and some people said, man, he's got a bunch of older guys. He won with older guys. It don't matter. He still won with them. They're still legal student athletes.
You take Carson Beck out of the mix, and they do have a bunch of 18-year-olds at Miami.
Right. I mean, he's like 20.
Carson Beck, he's collecting the ARP right about now. That dude.
Yeah. So.
And taking a college class in 3 years, but hey,
never mind. I'm an academic guy. I gotta bite my tongue on that one. TD, we are so glad you're back. You were off last show. We were off last week as a group. TD, you said you wanted a couple of minutes, so I want to turn it over to you for just a minute. I'm going to mute. Joe, let's both mute. TD, we're going to give you the floor for just a couple of minutes, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. There's something that, we didn't have a show last week just out of planning. And then the week prior, I was unable to be on the show. And so I'll try not to get too emotional about it. But my mom had a pretty traumatic injury going on about 3.5 weeks ago, and she's been hospitalized ever since. She's recovering well. She'll get out soon. And as many of you may or may not know, Pop's been battling cancer for 3 years, and he's going through a pretty hard regimen. And as of Friday, he's back in the hospital again with some things going on. I bring that up because we've had a small village of family and friends. God bless my wife and others. And I bring it up. It's relative to this podcast because it's relative to the brand that we talk about every time we get on here. And we talk about Teal Nation, and we talk about it from being like fans and being alums. And I know some of those folks listen to this pod. I'm not doing it for that, but you go look at the village of people who have helped my brother and I out, who are both alums, my wife, who's alum, and you go look at the people, and they're from Pennsylvania, New York, South Carolina, and Illinois, and other states. Teal Nation's something bigger than just a brand. It's bigger than something than a diploma. You know, it's a village, man. It's a community. It's people who find out and just check in. Just want to say thanks. It's been pretty hard, and just want to say thank y'all. Some guys on the podcast, fans have reached out when they found out individually, and logo means something, man. That logo means something to a lot of people, and it's more than wins and losses. It's something when you walk through an airport, people see it, they respect it. It's when your parents are sick and you're out of town, and if not for my dad coaching and my mom taking care of them, or me being a student athlete, or my wife being, you know, it's everything, man. It's elemental, it's layered, it's y'all, it's you guys checking in on me. You know, without this thing that we appreciate and love, that's Coastal. You know, we all don't come, we're not in this moment, we're not here now, right? And so when we say we care a lot about this thing, we do, man. It's something bigger than all of us. It's something that's it's fragile, it's strong all at the same time. And um you know, I'm usually the emotional guy that gets fired up about stuff, man. But you know, if anything, the last 30 days it's Teal Nation's got a lot of great people in it, man. A lot of great people that work at that university that have been very patient with our family and my dad and my mom. Dad's former players, former teammates of mine, friends who are alums, and not because they're Coastal, but because that's where we met, or that's how we met, or you know, people I consider like big brothers and big sisters to me that my dad coached, or and just they're local, they're regional, they're across the country. They're what can we do? How can we do it? When can we do it? Right. And not asking for anything in return. That's family, man. That's you know, getting texts from people who, you know, I don't even know who they are, and like, hey, you know, I heard about your dad, and you know, he coached me back in the day. How can I help you? And so it's, you know, I just want to say thank y'all. You boys have been patient in your prayers. You know, it's been a lot. I haven't had a chance to really talk about this on the podcast with everything, but you know, when we move on, start talking about some more fun stuff here in just a second. It's just when y'all listen to this podcast and you wear that brand and you look at your diploma and we say it's something special, it is, man. It's not some big brand university. We all know each other somehow, and there's a message out there. Appreciate the prayers. We missed being a step up to the plate. My mom and dad were going to go. They'd have been there if they wouldn't have been where they are. And so just cannot thank y'all, and cannot thank friends and family enough, and the big village that we have. And so just appreciate y'all letting me get 3 or 4 minutes to say that.
Absolutely, because TD, when you say family and you say the word village and using those kind of terms interchangeably, it's easy to do it when you're talking about Coastal. So easy when you can use those kind of words and express yourself that way. TD, you know, Joe and I are with you 100%. You're even getting love on the YouTube channel right now. Don Hovis actually just said he's praying for you and your family, and he did miss you as step up to the plate. So
Yeah,
he
we
just
miss
wrote
being
that in there
man.
while you were talking. So the
Appreciate
love
that, man.
continues, TD. Danley is an important name for Coastal. I can guarantee you that. So
Well, they're
You know,
all
that
important,
old
man.
saying,
They're all important.
Joe, that Chris Berman used to use about circling the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I think we're circling the wagons pretty well here at Coastal too.
Yeah, man. It's hopefully mom and pop they'll get better, and they'll be they're looking forward to Valentine's Day weekend and Fairfield coming into town. That's kind of what they have in their mind to get better by. And so that home weekend there probably be colder than hell. The way we may get some snow this coming weekend, but man, just I'll leave this to everybody, man. Right when you think you're alone, man, reach out to somebody in Teal, man. I promise you, there's somebody there that'll help you.
Well said. Let's get back to the Teal, and let's talk about some hoops. TD's favorite topic.
Hey, man, Coach Gray's 5 wins, and I got some stats ready. I even got some stats ready.
Joe, somebody did their homework for hoops tonight. TD, I'm just so proud of you. You're bouncing back like a champion right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to bounce back where I can, boy.
Let's start with the ladies first. We just had Coach Pedersen on, and we did find out. We were trying to do this math earlier before we started. Coach Pedersen, congrats on your 500th win. It happened right after you were on the pod. Joe and TD, just want to point this out to you and everybody else. Is probably obvious at this point. Coming on the strut, if you're a basketball coach, is good for your career. Let's just go ahead and say it and what it is. Coach Pedersen, win number 500. Coach Gray, 5 wins in a row. I don't think it's an accident. I'm just saying. Ladies were victorious the last time out, TD and Joe. They defeated Southern Miss 81-55 in a dominant performance. They sit at 10-11 overall in the season. But Joe, you and I kind of talked about this too. You play a team like Louisiana, and you lose by 3. You've got to bounce back. You've got to bounce back, and you've got to do it in a big way. And they did at home against Seymour DeCampus, TD. And they are now sitting at 10-11 overall, 3-6 in the conference. Guys, so far the ladies, I know we were expecting a little bit more as far as the record goes, but I think Pedersen kind of said it pretty well when he was here, that once that snowball gets going down that mountain, Joe, look for big things to happen with the ladies. Are we thinking this might have been the game we turned the corner? What do you think?
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, that game was in Hattiesburg. That win was there.
You're right. My bad.
Because they went on that. They went on a 2-game road trip down there to first to Louisiana and then to Seymour. But you know the one that Coach Pedersen's kicking himself over is losing to Louisiana. That was one that's one you got to go get. And I think he would say that. But at least they were able to make the trip to Hattiesburg after that loss and bounce back. And hopefully that is the catalyst, to really get things rolling, because you lose to Louisiana, then you go get a win. Hopefully that's the one where you turn the corner and you can get some momentum really going like he was talking about. Once that ball gets rolling down the hill, it's hard to stop. And hopefully, Coastal Chaos will build off that.
The next 2 games coming up, TD, will be home games for our ladies. They're going to be at home on the 28th, which is Wednesday against Texas State, future Pac-12 champions. And then they play the Wiregrass Warriors.
Not basketball, they won't be.
But you know what? Never mind. I ain't going to say it. But and then they got the Wirecrass. That's actually better. They're Wiregrass people.
I thought you were going to say Wiregrass for a second.
I know.
That'd be about right.
So they got the Wiregrass Warriors on the 31st at home. So you've got back-to-back opportunities to see the ladies in action. 28th Wednesday, and then the 31st as they host Troy before they hit the road and go down to Arkansas State on February 4th. As we're looking at the standings right now for the women in terms of basketball, the ladies are sitting at 3-6 in conference play. They're kind of in that well, we say it every year, and it's true again this year. There's about 5 or 6, maybe 7 teams as I'm looking at the standings now that are all within like a game or 2 of each other. So, 1 or 2 good weeks in a row for anybody could turn your season around. And with the teams they've got coming up, I believe, guys, disagree if you want, Texas State and following them with Troy, I really believe we've got a couple of games there, even though those teams are in the upper echelon of the conference. statistically speaking, we look competitive. I mean, I think it's going to be a couple of good ball games, and if we can get at least one of those two, we're going to set ourselves up for a tough matchup at Arkansas State, who's number one in the conference right now for the ladies. But at the same time, guys, if momentum is going to hit, I think this has got to be the time where that snowball begins to roll.
Yeah, I agree. If you got to make a turn now, right? It's I was able to catch bits and pieces of the men and women's game. It actually was a little bit of a kind of mental reprieve there for a little bit, as I was out of town also too for 4.5 days for work, and so, man, they're not far off. Again, y'all were more in tune with basketball than I am as far as the X's and O's, but from what I could tell, it's not like we can still position ourselves well for tournament seeding, right? The opportunity to do it is there, and the teams are in front of us. Just going out and getting that extra 2 or 3 possessions that I could see that really turn the tide of the game, especially in the second half, right? Because with Coach Pedersen's style of offense defense, and Chili, you know it better, and Joe, you get 2 or 3 possessions ahead of somebody, and you can get them, really rimming some shots, and you're knocking down fast break points. It starts putting a little bit of a pressure on a team, right? It's kind of like if you go down with a Grayson McCall, Chadwell drive, or all of a sudden you start bunting and running, stealing and running, hitting behind the runners, and all of a sudden Thorndike comes up and hits. It's like it starts putting pressure on a team that they're just not accustomed to have to deal with. I think we're just 2 or 3 possessions away at times from executing that, and then a whole different dynamic of a game opens up.
I agree with that, Joe. I believe too, in having coached both women's and men's basketball in my career, possessions in the women's game means more than it does in the men's game. I believe that because women are smarter with the ball, they're better teammates when it comes to passing, they're more thoughtful. So you're going to have more go into a possession than a men's game, because you guys have watched enough basketball to know men's game, pass, here comes your shot, pass, here comes the drive, pass, here's a turnover. You're going to see a lot more longer possessions, TD. So what you're saying, I think, lends itself to what Coastal Chaos could do, which if Pedersen can get chaos going, we'll see more possessions for our players, and we'll see a whole lot more points going up.
He wants up and down, helter skelter, lots of possessions and lots of threes. Get that game going up and get something that, that the fans will, be excited to watch. They don't want to watch, dribble it up, make 10 passes around the perimeter and, that kind of thing. Of course, you don't have that much time with the shot clock, but I mean, let's get it and go. Let's get some shots up.
So, yeah.
Statistically speaking, right now, just a couple of names, and we'll move on to the men. Kristen Williams, still the leading scorer. She's got averaging right at 14 points per game. Our leading rebounder so far, Tracy Houston, she's got 138 rebounds on the season so far. She's averaging 6.7. Hey, Joe, 6'7".
There you go.
We worked it right in, TD, and you just sat there and
No, man. I have an 11-year-old dude and a 5-year-old, and I have not heard 6'7" probably in a week, and it has been a small blessing in disguise.
You did until now. You didn't hear it, right?
I'm glad they didn't hear it.
Play it back for me in the car.
No,
so that's some names we need to know about as far as ladies game go. And if you haven't seen them play yet, you need to. And we said a while ago, 2 opportunities for you coming up Wednesday, and then again on the 31st. Both are home games. If you haven't been to see them in person, go do it. Joe Pedersen's my new best friend. Go see my buddy coach basketball. Right?
He's your pal.
He's my bud. Speaking of the men, TD, they have won 5 in a row. It's been a while since we've won 5 in a row. And there was some flack on social media earlier this year, but I feel like Coach Gray, when he acknowledged that with us when he was here last time, he's got to be laughing about it now, because they're looking so much better. We are sitting at 13-9 overall in the season, 6-4 in the conference. And when you look at the standings for Coastal men's basketball right now, they are tied with App State, and they're about a half a game behind the next 2 teams, which are South Alabama and Marshall. And look at that. The next game we play is the 29th at South Alabama.
Yeah, we've got the opportunity in front of us. Something I saw too. We've won 5 in a row, which is the longest winning streak we've had in a decade or more.
2019.
Felt like a decade.
Felt it's almost that's 7 years, right?
Like
I mean, that's pre-COVID, which seems like it's, a long time ago. But
that added,
it was.
Yeah, I had more hair then. I didn't have much to give, but I had more hair then. And 7 years ago, so about 7 years ago, here's what's something I saw. If not for Troy having equally a 5-game winning streak at the exact same time, let this sink in. We'd be about 2 games ahead. Let's just say they were winning games 3 out of 5, like they were doing 4 out of 1, 4 out of 5. We would have gained a game or 2 on them. We're 2.5 games back of the lead, right? First place in the entire conference, if I read that right.
Well, Troy's in first place. They're 8-1 overall in the conference, and then you've got Georgia State, and then who we should have beaten them. That's the game.
Yeah, but we're 2.5 games back. But Troy has not played the equal amount of games that we've played. We've played
Georgia State sitting there at 6-3 right now. That is the one that just, I mean, and that I know TD's got some stats. I got some stuff. I'm going to talk about basketball too.
Quick little stats.
That game with them is that they had some horrific loss. I mean, horrific losses early, but look where they are now. I mean, it's kind of like,
well,
it's the game I went to. What you're trying to say, Joe?
And you watched a shooting display by a team that you might not see again. Talking about a decade, you might not see a team go 14 or 15 from beyond the arc in one half of basketball. You could go years with that. You don't do that in practice when no one's guarding you. That crowd did it in the second half of that game. They shot 76% from the field. That game still has just been one of the biggest head scratchers that we're up 7 with 9 minutes to go and lose by 18. I mean,
No words.
I know.
Well, you just got it. Well, Coach Gray said it, man. You just got to look at it and you go back in the locker room and go, dude, like,
yeah.
Could we have defended? He said it. Could we have defended half of those better? It but half of them were contested. It wasn't like they were poorly contested.
You wanted
them to take a shot. I mean,
you wanted them to. That was the whole. You wanted a 3 for 15 team in the first half to take those same exact shots, and they did, and every daggone one of them.
And there were a couple of them,
with exception of one, went in. It's great.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about some wins here in a minute, though.
That's right.
That Georgia State thing, we got to get rid of. I got to get that.
It's gone.
The point is, we were on a 5-game win streak. The only other team that's done that is Troy. Everybody else has, they've won 3 or 2 or 1. We could have gained a game or 2, so we're trending in the right direction at the right time is what I was going with. We're also currently leading the conference. If I looked at it right, currently leading the conference in rebounding in the conference last time I checked, right? Boards, we're leading the conference in boards. So that's defensive rebounding, offensive rebounding. We're currently leading the conference. I looked at the website. If I looked at it right, Joe, I'll see Joe's looking at his stats. If I remember correctly.
I don't doubt you. No, I'm not.
That was one thing. Here's something else too that I want to point out. We're 6-3 at home and we're 6-6 on the road. Okay. But those road wins have come of late. We're playing well with confidence. That's the ticket. That's the ticket.
And 2 of the teams that's ahead of us in the conference standings, TD, to go along with what you're saying, Marshall and App State are teams that we have beaten within this 5-game win streak as well. So that's a confidence streak that's going, Joe. Mm-hmm. And I'm speaking of snowball going down the mountain, I think we're there with men right now, or at least I hope we are.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of I had a lot of time yesterday because everybody was kind of iced in up here, and there wasn't a whole heck of a lot to do. But we didn't lose our power.
You didn't go play. You didn't swing the sticks.
No, they closed it, man. They closed it because we did get some ice and some stuff, but we never lost power, which was nice. And it was
they're calling for snow again this weekend. Actual snow. Man, that'd be great, man.
But anyway, going back and looking at this 5-game streak, we're talking about how, the struggles early in the season for this team. We only played 3 home games before the start of the year. Mm-hmm. Our schedule, and people giving Coach Gray a hard time. Our schedule, we had Virginia, Lynchburg, Winthrop, Alabama A&M. Those are the only 3 home games we had in the first, gosh, all the way up until Georgia Southern came to us. I mean, holy crap. I mean, that's a pretty good schedule. And we didn't do badly against it. We really didn't. The St. Joe's win at the end of the year was kind of one of those, you're like, oh, look at that. That's not a bad win at all.
Got
against that
UMass
crowd.
coming up with the SBC MAC Challenge coming up too. That could be a game that'll help a little bit.
Absolutely. But then, to talk about this 5-game streak, I think you got to go back to the games that we lost at home. We had a 4-game homestand coming out, and we lost to Georgia Southern, Georgia State, and Old Dominion back to back at home. And it was kind of like, where is this season going to go? I mean, the Georgia Southern game was a game that could have been won. I thought Coastal was better that day. Couldn't find a way to win, lost in overtime. And then we just got shot out of the gym by Georgia State, sleptwalked through a loss to Old Dominion at home. We'd beaten them in Norfolk and just didn't do anything against them here. What turned this whole thing around was the second half against App State, in my opinion. When you go back and look at this 5-game streak, it started in the second half against App State. We're down by 6 at the half. Shot 64% from the field in the second half of that game. We were down by as many as 13 in that game. Beadle had 25 points. Reggie Hill had a big score late. First time we won this year after trailing at halftime. We found a way in the second half, right? Went on a big run, overcame App at home, 167-62. Then we went and beat Marshall, held them off late. You had a 13-point lead. They came back and tied it. And then they had a guy at the line, to possibly tie the game late on a very late foul. He missed. and we escaped. Dancer with 26, Beadle with 26, or 28, 26, something like that. We shot 57% from the floor in that game, right? And then the one, Georgia Southern, which was just such a crazy game. That game was over. That game was, if anybody watched that,
I'll watch that one. You're right.
That game was over. They're going to the line with 5 seconds left with 2 shots and a 2-point lead. What was our percentage of winning? I love, maybe Doyle Data can go back and look that up for us, right? I mean, there was no chance to win that game. And this kid makes 1 or 2, missed the first, makes a second. They're up by 3. Then they foul Beadle. They didn't want him shooting a 3. Okay, that's strategy. Don't let him shoot a 3. All right, so he goes to the line, makes the first, misses the second, and that ball just spins off to the right side, and there's Reggie Hill with 2 guys either side. Bang, rebound, stick back, and the foul. Tie game. 54% foul shooter misses the foul shot, but at least we won it in overtime, never trailed. That was a game they probably should have won, but we stole. Now, isn't that interesting, right? I mean, they stole one from us in overtime. In our gym, we stole one from them in overtime in their gym. 3rd win. And then the Texas State game, and you look at little plays along the way, like the Reggie Hill rebound and stick back there. Mm-hmm. Tristan Thompson's defense at the end of the Texas State game, when that drone kid just went nuts. I thought we had that game won, and dadgummit, a 13-point lead with less than 10 minutes to go, and this kid goes crazy. And then Tristan Thompson gets 2 stops in the last 90 seconds of that game, stops that kid. And we wound up getting the foul call. Rasheed Jones, sometimes you see that called, and most times you don't. He gets fouled on the 3. They whack him. Sometimes the refs swallow the whistle there. They didn't in this case. He goes to the line, makes all 3. We win by 2. 2 big stops. You're winning, game-winning plays, right? Winning plays by guys other than, our big 3 guys that we know they're going to score points. We're getting them from Tristan Thompson, from Reggie Hill, got DeJohn Craig making some big plays, right? Pete has done well. Guys that are in support roles helping in this 5-game streak. And then, of course, you blow out Southern Miss the other day, just never trailed. I mean, you shot 57% for the game, biggest, best percentage all year. You look at, and then I'll wrap it up real quick with this. The things I'm looking at as to, I've mentioned some of the reasons why we put together 5 wins in a row. You look at our season shooting percentage, field goal percentage on the season against all teams is 42%. We're at 48% these 5 games. So our shooting percentage has gone from here to here in the 5-game win. And behind the arc, we're 39%. You're going to be a lot of teams making 39% from behind the arc. So the shooting has gone up. The big 3 have been the big 3, and we're getting winning plays from other guys. And so hopefully, Chili, like you said, South Alabama, we go on the road and be another big test on Thursday night. So hopefully these guys can keep it up.
Absolutely. And South Alabama is one of those teams that's kind of sitting maybe like a half a game. It's kind of weird to look at the standings because we have played 10 conference games. We're 6-4 overall, but South Al's played only 8 of them. They're 5-3. So it's hard to get a beat on, what's happening there until we get about the same number of conference games in, so we can really kind of play the standings out and see where everybody is.
If I remember correctly, Troy's what's their record, Chili?
Troy right now is sitting at 8-1 in the conference, 15-6 overall.
Mm-hmm.
And see, they've only played 9 games. We've played 10. There's a bunch of 10. So there's actually, interesting enough, there's 4 schools that have played 10, and the other schools, hence the reason there's a half game there. But you go out and beat South Alabama, now you're 7-4. Does that put you 2 games back? Maybe a game and a half, depending on what Troy does and what Georgia State does. But we've got South Al, Georgia State, Ark State, James Madison. I remember some of those names, but you got 3 schools right there that you go out and get those 3 wins. You really, all of a sudden, you look up and you could have yourself inside the top 4 seed for the tournament, right? And I see, so look, I don't care if you're a basketball guy, a baseball guy, right? We play to our strengths, right? And look, I don't have to be the guru of basketball to know you want to get in that top 4 seed, because then it sets you up well so you don't have to play excessive games early on, right? And then some tournaments that bodes well, some tournaments it doesn't, right? But with ours, the way it sets up, I mean, you play every day, potentially for like 5 days straight. And dude, it's like,
it's a grind.
It's a grind. And so if you could shave off a game or a T or 2, now it becomes a sprint to the finish, right? For 3 games. That's what you want.
If you're a lower seeded team, man, you've got a long road to hoe. Tough road to hoe. And I meant to mention too, Rasheed Jones was 7 threes the other day. That kid stays hot, man. These guys stay hot. Look out. I mean, they're filling it up. The game is so much better when you put the ball in the basket, right?
Tends to help.
Really not
How
hard.
about Beetle against Texas State too?
Oh, Texas State Beetle with 32 in a career high. And also in that Southern Miss game, I wanted to mention 3 guys with 20 points each. That's the first time we put 3 with 20 since 2020. So that was the best shooting performance of the season. They made their first 9 shots of that game. I mean, bang, 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 bang. Ball's going in, you're going to win.
Joe, I think you and I should do basketball together.
I'd love to, man. I my dad coached it. I played it a little bit in high school. I don't know.
Hey, can I be
all that I'm looking at all the time? They have these different terminologies now out there and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you what. When I called basketball games play-by-play, that was the most fun. It's fast paced and you're in and out in 2 hours. I loved it. Love calling basketball. I don't care what it was.
When I first started at Coastal, I really wanted to go the route of being like an ESPN anchor kind of guy, or do like sideline reporting at football or play-by-play for basketball. So if we would ever get a chance to do a strut cast for basketball, I can see me and Joe at the table. TD, you'd be like on the sideline or doing whatever.
I'd do something.
That'd be a great arrangement
like that,
for
man. I'd be. Let me tell you something. I don't know if I've told you all this. I grew up watching. I mean, we didn't miss a home basketball game, men's basketball game or baseball game growing up, and men's soccer, right? Because you got to think back when I grew up. I was back in the 90s. I was elementary, middle school, whatever. I was a towel boy, right? Towel boy with a number of folks that listen to this podcast and that are big supporters of the university. But I remember being a towel boy in the late 80s and 90s, right? Basically between when I was a kindergartner to about 5th grade, I was some level of a towel boy or water jug boy, like Kiki Hicks and Muhammad Acha and Tony Duncan and that crowd, right? And so I can remember, I do miss Kimball. Love HTC. At some point, we're going to have a bigger platform for basketball. It's needed. It's needed. But also for multiple reasons beyond basketball, right? You really dedicate the HTC Center to women's basketball and volleyball, where you have their own center, which again is a massive tool, right? And then they get a big game, they can go to the new arena. But then with that new arena, you can go out and recruit. But this program's got some history. And so to y'all's point, man, I'd love to be able to go out in the crowd and maybe get some almost like a Pat Mc. Could be like the Pat McAfee for the basketball.
That's exactly what I have in mind for you, TD.
Like I could totally be that guy. and like get my wife involved where like you could talk about who you're playing with, the fashion for that game, right? Like what you're supposed to wear that game. It's cold, it's hot, whatever. Do you go jeans? Do you go leggings? Do you go kind of fancy dress with the, I could be that dude where I could just show up in some like khakis and boots and just call basketball and just come off with some wacky comment.
And I'm going to say this too. Basketball needs to be a thing at Coastal. Okay.
Yes.
It needs to be something. It gets lost and has been lost for several years, a number of years, from football to baseball. And it's understandable, right? I mean, I was obviously
It does help when you win though, right? And
well,
Gray
I
said
mean,
that.
I was involved
It
with
does
football
help.
from day one, all the way up through the Hawaii Bowl, 21 years, and a lot of winning there, right? Baseball, you don't have to say anything about Coastal Carolina baseball. Know how a winning tradition, national championship program, that crowd is, right? I mean, and you got football, you have baseball, and in the middle, in between, for the longest time, it's just been kind of like, let's just bridge the gap. Let's get from that to that. What are we going to do? Basketball needs to be a basketball. There could be such right now. I feel more buzz and excitement just in this 5-game little stretch. We got to start somewhere, right? And we've been going for the longest time where there just hasn't been anything going on. There just hasn't. Now you kind of feel like maybe we're turning the corner a little bit. We talked about turning the corner a minute ago. Maybe we're turning the corner a little bit. Let's get some buzz. Let's get some excitement around basketball, men's and women's. Either one, both would be great. Let's do that. Basketball needs to be a thing at Coastal. It needs to be exciting.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say: is TD was a water boy, towel boy, whatever he was, Joe and Kimball, while I was a student at Coastal. So that's how far apart TD and I are in age, first off. But TD, you're right, because going to Kimball Arena when it was good, when we would play like the rivals like Winthrop, College of Charleston, those teams, and the Big South days, which I got to say, Sunbelt I like better as far as basketball, but you don't ever beat those rivals that we had in Big South play years and years ago when we had your Joey Harts, your Kiki Hicks, Muhammad Achas, Tony Duncans. I mean, the whole crew. I was even a Larry Jonikin fan, TD. Come on. Larry Jonikin.
Oh, Larry Jonikin, man. I tell you, but to your point, it can be that way again. And I've referenced it before where to give Cliff Ellis credit, right? Like I'm not going to be ashamed of it nor hide behind it. Towards the end of his career, I was not enamored with where he was with our program and where he was in college basketball. Again, I'll give my dad credit and even Gary Gilmore credit and a few more. Like when your ability to get to kids has passed, you need to have a succession plan, right? And pass it down to someone who can continue to elevate the program and build on what prior has been built. And so, but I remember those 2 trips to the NCAA tournament, more specifically the NC State regional or the Raleigh regional, where we had a great showing of fans and we almost took out Virginia that year, right, as a 16 seed. And so I know what the HTC Center can look like when the entire thing is packed and there's a buzz, man. And I know what it looks like too when we beat Clemson at home, and then we beat some other schools at home and
beat
on
South
the road.
Carolina just a couple years
Beat South
ago.
Carolina, we beat Clemson. I think we were really stout one year against Wake in that 3 or 4 year period. And so it does, Joe, to your point, and I think Chill, you would agree, when your 2 bookend sports at Coastal are football and baseball, right? Man, when you can get something right in the middle with basketball, it creates the trifecta. Well, we're not telling you any secret, right? TD, somebody's hearing this going, TD, that's any school. Yeah, but if you go to some ACC school, no disrespect, I'm just going to use an example, like an NC State. Like NC State's using 8-4 in the fall, and they're usually a top 40 basketball, and they're usually a top 30 in baseball. There's a pretty consistent buzz, and I can't stand NC State for the life of me, but I give them credit. Like there's usually a consistent buzz on their campus because they're relative, and I use that, they're relatively in the mix for something, and so that's just to your point, Joe. It'd be great, and I've said it, like am I expecting Coach Gray to go out and win it every year? No, but if he can go out and win the conference once every 3 years and be in that top 4 the other 2, man, that's competitive quality basketball, right? That's what you want. If you can do that, you're going to put cheeks in teal seats, man.
Yeah. I tell you what, Chili, TD,
Yeah,
all
go
of this basketball talk has made me real thirsty. I mean, I am.
What do you do about your thirst, Joe?
Well, funny you should ask. Savannah Sweet Tea Company takes care of all of this. Low country born, low country made sweet peach and unsweetened tea available now, brewed hot with pure cane sugar, just like Mama made it. Visit savsweetteaco.com. We'll see the
I
pop
got
up
you.
here in just a second.
Keep going. Kill time. I
Visit
got it.
savsweetteaco.com and use the code Shots Up for 10% off your order. Here is some, let's see, this is some delicious sweet right there. Savannah Sweet Tea. So when you're talking shots, it's basketball, baseball, football, whatever it is, you get thirsty, grab you a bottle of some Savannah Sweet Tea. It's great.
Joe, what do you think will happen first? I finally get to taste Savannah Sweet Tea, or Coastal wins the Sun Belt Conference in basketball?
I think Haley's Comet will come back around before any of those two things happen or any of that stuff happens, quite frankly.
If TD had a sense of humor, he would hold up my bottles of Savannah Sweet Tea just to taunt me. But
I've got them. They're cold.
Look
I
at
haven't
that
drank a
hat on
single
here,
one of them.
too.
You are the
Got my
swag
merch
master,
here. Let me get
Joe.
my hat on here.
By the way, I saw Teal Nation as I came down Main Street Conway today from work, and in the window, God, I hate to say I said this out loud, but in the window, they have a rope hat, all white rope hat with a teal rope on it with the Kellogg's chicken right in the middle.
Oh, man.
Dude.
You're kidding me, really?
I'm not kidding you.
Y'all know how I feel about that logo.
That thing was like
Man,
a
I got to get my
beacon of
hands
light.
on one of those
Dude,
now.
I got to get Coach Beard to get me a white helmet with that logo
Oh
on it.
man,
That's
You
what
know,
I want.
that I'm he strikes me as a dude that for homecoming could be I'm one of those a big pronounced Kellogg's logo. I've said this 1,000 times, man. White helmet with a big logo, like the enhanced logo, on either side, just for homecoming. Just bring it out just for homecoming. And
I
that's
wish
it.
he would let us
That's it.
pick the uniforms one Saturday, just and have like a strut combo.
Let the fans pick them. Beyond the strut, man. Almost like a fan
I want a
survey.
strut combo. I'm selfish.
All right,
I want
a
the strut
combo.
logo on the helmet, Joe. What do you think
Did
about
you
that?
see what they're promoting? 59 different combinations, uniform
Yeah,
combos.
yeah.
They must be coming out with some new stuff, because from what I've seen traditionally, I don't know how you get 59 combos out of that. Of course, I was never a math major. They must be coming out with some new stuff to be able to have that number. And I'm interested to see what that looks like, since we're talking about stuff like that.
Real quick, TD, I know you're ready to talk about this for just a couple of minutes. Baseball is 18 days away. Did I see that correct on
Yeah,
social
it
media
is.
today?
Yep. And what a great
that-
first show they did on that new series.
Yeah, that's what I
man.
wanted to talk about. Go ahead.
Forgive
TD.
me. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No.
No, I was just going to tee it up for you, because the first one, if I'm wrong with the title, it was well, I'm going to be wrong, so I'm not going to know it. But anyway, I watched the first couple of minutes of it, couldn't finish it, but I plan on watching the series Road to Omaha. And anytime Coach Schnall starts talking, I stop. I like hearing what he's got to say about anything, and I love having him on our program too. So, TD, I'll go ahead and tee you up for that one, since I haven't watched the whole thing. It wouldn't be fair to everybody for me to kind of assess it. So I'll let you go ahead and take that one.
I tell you what, I watched it. It's about 6.5 minutes long, and it's they're putting some production together, right? I took the boys out there actually to kind of just get a little bit of a, I don't know, man. We were leaving all that's going on in our world, and I had about an hour window, and I think I'd been in the hospital with Mama for 4 or 5 straight days, and so we happened to be riding by with the boys, and I said, let's cut through the campus, right, just to see campus and see if you guys out there. Well, lo and behold, they were out there working at baseball. And so we were able to get in and sit up there behind third base, and Shill's working our first base. Shill's working first base. He leaned over, kind of gave me a nod. We just sat there. I told the boys to be quiet and just listen and learn. And let me tell you something, man. It was like a submarine crew, quiet. And they were going through, and I think it was purposeful because it was like he wanted everybody mentally focused. And that's just a Schnall practice, right? Everybody, they were running a 5-cut drill where they were moving a runner, hit and run, moving a runner, scoring a runner drill, right? And then 2 free cuts or something like that. And so, but just to watch it, man, it was like a machine out there. And let me tell you something. I promised I wouldn't say anything, but there were 4 or 5 young dudes out there I was watching that were absolutely, and I get it, it was a BP fastball, probably 85, 90 miles an hour. But they were absolutely barreling balls up all over the daggone ballpark. And we just look, I don't like saying bigger, man, but we look like guys like Mijos just look bigger. Man, I hate to say that, but they do, man. They just look bigger. Listening to that podcast too, after watching that practice and talking to some guys that have been around out there, there's a mission. There is a mission to prove what happened in 2016, where if y'all remember this, people don't like to talk about it, but it's reality of a program that ascends that level and then has to rebuild, not reload. I think the difference this year, boys, is we reloaded. We didn't rebuild. We reloaded with talent, right? High school talent, JUCO talent, portal talent, right? And preseason, just a couple preseason things here. I mean, you've got team rankings that rank from 6 to 17. You got Fluky is named Davitt. You got Lynch, Hayden Johnson, Horn, Carbone are all mentioned different preseason accolades. I mean, Cameron Fluky right now leads as a 2026 perfect game preseason pitcher of the year. He's one of 3 first-team All-American pitchers that were discussed, right? And so quickly, D1 baseball preseason, you got Fluky, Carbone, and Lynch, right? Were 2 first teams and a second teamer honors, right? And if you know Schnall, he's going to use that as kind of the old rat poison, right? That's what he's going to do. He's going to use that. And this team's reloaded. We got to manage expectations as a fan base, right? Got to manage expectations this year as a fan base. And I don't mean that to kind of set up in case we don't get to Omaha. The goal is Omaha. But you can hear Schnall talk about also the goal is to win the weekend, right? Win the weekend, win the week, win the at-bat, control the controllables. No excuses. I mean, he talks about being selfless and relentless. And that podcast, it's about 6.5 minute long video cast podcast. And Connor Owings Connor Owings being a part of that team to me is absolutely quintessential. He is, God, I mean, you think of a kid, what is it? He one kidney, right?
He's a culture guy, man.
He's a culture guy. He's a coastal guy.
He's a culture guy, right? He gets it. He knows.
He's in that pod, man.
Won it.
Like he gets it, right? He won it, and then he went there. Let this sink in. He won it in 16 as a player, and he's back as a staffer in 2025 and was a national runner-up, right? And so he's got something he's got some juice. When that boy speaks, I watched it. When all of a sudden he was correcting somebody, people shut up. Like this dude won one as a player, and now he's been part of a staff. And Schnall brought him in this past year or this last year, and he's a culture guy. He's an accountability guy. He's a dude. If you go back, get a chance, go look at his story. He grinded with all the health conditions that he was going through, monkeys over in games because he's just selfless and relentless, right? Had to bow out of a game, had to look at Gilmore one time and Schnall and them, basically, from my understanding, and say, I've literally given everything I can give. I physically cannot give anymore. Physically. Working on one kid. I mean, when you get a dude like that in the locker room, and he's in the first pod, man, preseason accolades abound, from national accolades as a team to pitchers, to position players. The one position that continues to be interesting to me is who's going to rise to the occasion after the first weekend. After we have Fairfield, which, by the way, Fairfield, same Fairfield team that we played on Friday night, that, they're a tough little ball club, right? This isn't a walk in the park. They're going to come down here with a little bit of familiarity. We were just in this ballpark. We played y'all tough about 5 or 6 innings, and then we let it get away from us. And then Coastal dominated the game after that. But who's going to be the starting catcher, right? Who's going to step up and solidify that spot? Who's going to be the starting shortstop? Right? Because other positions, you figure it in who's going to be doing what, but who's going to be the starting catcher? Who's going to be the starting shortstop? That's, to me, the two positions right now that there's a lot of what I saw, what I've heard, and we're making efforts right now to get Coach Snall and the entire staff on like we did last year. Those are the positions right now that I think are really up. I don't say for grabs. I think that's a bit much. There's still to be a lot determined. If you talk to Schnall, of course, every position is going to be determined, unless you're Blake Barthol at second, Thorndike at first. But Walker Mitchell at third, right? That's who you're probably thinking, considering last year and what they've done so far through the fall and the spring. But shortstop and catcher, man, those are the two positions that we have been very fortunate to have Caden Bodine behind the plate for 3 years, and then you had a combination of a couple guys at short, but they were always, as far as playing shortstop, they were always high-quality defensive players. And they batted about 250, 240 at the plate, had big moments, got streaky, right? But those are two positions right now to me that I've noticed and talked to some folks about that if we get those locked in, man, that top to bottom lineup. Last thing I'll say is, are we going to go out and overpower some teams like we did last year with pitching? I think we're going to be very formidable, very quality, no doubt about it. I think our bullpen is going to have more depth, but I think we're going to have the ability to go out and score runs in bunches like we've been accustomed to doing, right? We're going to have to score in bunches. So that's some preseason stuff. I know that's not analytical. We'll get into it. I look forward to getting the staff on over the next 2 or 3, 4 weeks leading up to the first weekend and then ultimately the second weekend. But I just hope we're not looking ahead to 2 weekends, right? Schnall's pretty good about not letting those guys do that. He doesn't let them get too far themselves. But as a fan base, I can't sit here and say I'm not looking forward to that Houston weekend where you play UTSA, Texas, and freaking Ole Miss. Texas and Ole Miss ranked, or will be most likely. Well, one's ranked, one will be by the time the weekend comes around. And then you follow that up with East Carolina at home for a 3-game set. Arguably two big weekends at home right there to start the season.
It should be a fun spring coming up, guys. Let's be honest here. We're looking forward to all this about to happen. But, TD, you were talking about Connor Owings a while ago, and every time I hear Connor Owings mentioned, I think about his baseball senior year, Joe, not far from you at Gilbert, South Carolina, because Gilbert was the upper state champions, and they played against the place where I was teaching and coaching, Hanahan, for the baseball state championship in 2A that year. Starting shortstop for Hanahan was their future teammate, Seth Lancaster. So we had 3 Chanticleers in that series, and all 3 of them make it to Coastal the next year, which I thought that was kind of cool looking back on it, because I didn't realize that Connor and Morrison were both playing at Gilbert, because someone in the stands said, hey, that guy that's over there, number whatever, has committed to Coastal. And I'm like, okay, but I want him to lose today because we helped this baseball team we got here. Hanahan's a bunch of good guys, and we want to win the whole thing. But that was pretty interesting when I got to talking to Seth years later, that he said that they talked about that a lot, how Gilbert versus Hanahan played itself out for a couple of years there at Coastal, Joe.
Well, Seth Lancaster, man, he might have been the hottest hitter we had at the end of 16. I mean, that kid was on fire down the stretch and in the postseason, and then he gets hurt at LSU, and we don't have him at all in Omaha, and we still figure out a way to win it. I mean, that still blows me away to this day. I mean, that kid was ripping the ball all over the place. Dang, I
And
wish he'd
him
been
and
healthy.
Crump with the handshakes. Every
And
5 minutes
it
of
was his
ESPN.
dad. It was Seth Lancaster's dad who picked me up on the road after the championship game. I'm trying to get the box of equipment all the way back up to the hotel to join the party. And I'm just by myself walking that box all the way up the sidewalk in Omaha. And some dude pulls up in a car, and I'm looking over there like, is this guy going? What's this guy up to? Is he going to shoot me or what? I didn't know. Was he going to try to snatch me off? So hey, you need a ride? And he got a teal shirt on. I'm like, yeah, I got sure. Where are you going? I'm going up here to the courtyard. Yeah, hop on in. Hop in.
His
I'm
dad's
Seth
a good guy.
Lancaster's dad.
Hey,
Well, how cool is that?
Yep.
a story to complement that one would be as you were walking with that box in Omaha in June. I remember the first two weekends, it was hot. I remember that weekend it was hot. They had thunderstorms. We had to delay one game. And I know exactly,
we had to delay what was supposed to have been the third game and had to play it the next morning.
Well, Chili, here's what happened. Joe was walking up there. It was hotter than 40 hells. You know what he was thinking about? He was thinking about Hanley's Pub and a cold beer. Hanley's Pub has been an absolute pillar for Teal Nation. Family friend, love him like a brother. Andrew and his wife, Kelly. Class of 2002, the official pub of the Strut podcast, and former check giver of the Cashin House for a hot minute.
That's
right. It is located in Carolina Forest. We will CC you at your local pub, which is Hanley's in Carolina Forest at 3873 Renee Drive, Myrtle. Give them a call, 843-903-4904. If you go there, again, we like the chicken fingers and fries. That's what we like. So, and the little sliders, man. Those things are the jam session, man.
Garlic Parmesan wings.
Joe?
They just did a big spread. I thought, who was it? Ed Piotrowski?
Ed Piotrowski. They gave him a big old spread for this past weekend.
They did. I saw that on. That was pretty cool. They were able to take care of those folks during this past weekend. Everything that was going on. Great job by Hanley's. They do great stuff, man. Good food.
You talking about a family that cares too, man, about this community and about this university. Not saying our other sponsors don't either, man, but he's another one too that he and Kelly do you could always go home over there and you're in good territory as a Chanticleer fan.
Well, speaking of Chanticleer fans and family, as we wrap things up here, a couple of announcements as we do some housekeeping here at the end. Boots and Bronze is next Friday night. It's a historic event. That's where the Strut got started. You can get your tickets online, bootsandbronze.com. And when you go and purchase, make sure you use my name because TD, we're competing this year to sell the most tickets. So I have a chance to win something, and y'all want me to be victorious again because Joe can't compete with me on this one, but I would beat him if we did. But make sure you purchase your tickets, use my name as a person who suggested it. But the Boots and Bronze is happening not this Friday, but next Friday night. Also, this Wednesday, day after tomorrow, the 28th, if you're in the Charleston area, we're having an alumni event. You can register for that at CCU Alumni on the website there. We're going to be at Grits and something in Mount Pleasant. I forgot the name of it already, but we're at Grits and something in Mount Pleasant, Joe.
Thankfully, they're not one of our sponsors, Joe.
Yes,
We'd really botch that one
because we're not really working on the market.
Come on now, Chili.
Give me I'll look it up for a second. But anyway, we're having an alumni event down here in Charleston Wednesday night. Make sure if you're a Coastal alumni down here in Charleston that you show up at that thing because we've got a lot of people. We got 70 people, TD and Joe, signed up for the alumni event this Wednesday night in Mount Pleasant down here. It's going to be a great time. Never had a bad time at any kind of an alumni event ever since I've been a part of it. So I can tell you that for sure. And it's at the Grace and Grit in Mount Pleasant, 320 Wingo Way in Mount Pleasant. See there? I saved it. Joe, tell us about Amber Campbell.
Congratulations to Amber Campbell Moore, elected to the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame in class of 2026. The former Chanticleer track and field athlete has been elected to the 10-member class.
The announcement was so good that the government must have screened the call.
There's drones over Joe's house right now.
There's drones over Joe's house. We're not conspiracy theorists here, folks. We're just calling it like it is.
So you
I think
want
we've
to
lost
time until he comes back?
I think we've lost Joe due to inclement weather issues over in the
Lugolf.
middle part of the state in
Yeah.
Lugolf. So Amber Campbell is going to be a part of the class of 2026 South Carolina Hall of Fame, which is fantastic. Man, excited for her. Joe will have more details when he comes back. He's currently frozen. Now he's out. Joe's out the portal, or no, technically Joe's in the portal. When he comes back from the portal, he will
This is
be
like
part of
Stranger
the.
Things. Where'd Joe go?
the
He's in the Upside Down.
He's. I don't even know. I don't even watch that show, man. I don't even
It's
know
a
what
great
you're talking
show.
about.
You
Man.
should watch it. It's a great show.
I'm more of a Yellowstone 1923 Landman.
Those are good
kinda
shows
guy.
too. Those are good shows too.
And
Don't get me wrong.
if hearing all those offends you, that's what makes this country great, man. You can watch whatever you want to watch in your own home. And so it's well, I don't know if Joseph will be able to get back on, but congratulations to Amber Campbell, 2026 South Carolina Hall of Fame. Man, we're very excited. The more years go by, we should be getting more and more Chanticleers in that Hall of Fame. There's a number of them. I think Grayson McCall is going to be another one that should be in there. There's going to be a number of baseball players that should be in there. And so exciting times. Chili, as we got to wrap this thing up, man, I'm gonna kick it back to you. I think we've got one more sponsor. So we got to end this show with an electric ending.
Well, don't forget a shout out to Shant Season.
Oh yes,
our new
that's what
Envoy.
We could use the sponsor. We could use LT Grace Electric.
You are really, the master of the segue.
If we're gonna juice it up, man, let's get juiced up. Shant Season is the new official correspondent to the Strut Podcast. Look, if you want to partner with the Strut Podcast, either as an advertiser or a sourcer and conveyor of fantastic information, like Shant Season, like Bob Dole, we need folks that love this university, love these programs, love quality data, information, breaking news. We've told y'all we're not the breaking news network over here, but when we have relationships that are out there that are in the know and our quality information, we want to make sure that we're doing that. Now that Joseph has come back from the portal, he's back with the Strut Podcast. He was talking about the 2026 inductee, Amber Campbell, who was also an Olympian. Joe, I've teed you back up to wrap that thing up one more time.
I do appreciate it, guys. I've had such a frustrating time with my internet provider here. Not going to bore everybody with it, but this thing does this like 5 or 6 times a day. And it's hard for me to get this thing fixed for whatever reason. But anyway, we're going to work on it before next week. Anyway, Amber Campbell Moore, class of 2026 of the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. 2004 graduate of Coastal, 5-time NCAA All-American in the hammer and weight throw, 16-time Big South champion during her 4 years at Coastal, owns school records in the weight, indoor shot put, outdoor shot put, discus, and hammer throw. She was the Big South Women's Track Athlete of the Year in each of her last 3 seasons and the Female Athlete of the Year 2002 and 2003. First international competition, the 2005 World Championships. Also then competed at 09, 11, 13, and the 15 World Championships. First Olympic berth came in 2008 Olympics in Beijing. Also competed 2012 Olympic Games and the 16 Summer Olympics in Brazil. So, and she advanced to the finals, placing 6th, and that's the highest ever finish by an American woman. So congratulations to Amber Campbell Moore, again, a 2004 graduate in psychology. Volunteers with the Chanticleer program, also personal trainer, night manager at Sport Doctors. You know what? It would be neat. It'd be neat to get Alan Connie on one night to talk about her. Yes. And just talk to Alan Connie in general. Yeah, I know he listens to us. He's a podcast supporter. He's a Sasser and a Big South Hall of Fame, both members of both of those halls of fame. We need to get Coach Connie on to talk about Amber Campbell a little bit. So congratulations to her. And she joins, some pretty pretty hefty company there going into this Hall of Fame and the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. Armani Edwards, remember that guy? Right. Yeah. Steve Spurrier, Jim Davis, former Clemson women's basketball coach. So it's a great class of people that are going into this 2026 class. And also, you still have time to vote for Mike Tolbert, South Carolina Football Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
You have until the end of the month, or I think it's the end of the week, January 30th. You can still vote for Mike Tolbert, South Carolina Football Hall of Famer, Just go to their website. You can anybody can vote. I've done it. Anybody can vote. So go vote. Go vote for
Hey,
Mike.
can we
Let's get him
post
in that
that on
South
the
Carolina
post
Hall
that
of
on
Fame.
all our social media? Maybe we can repost that. I think we posted it once.
Yeah, we need to.
Post it
I'll get the link
Need
out.
to
there.
need to
Yeah,
repost Mike
absolutely.
Toller. Need to pump him up a little bit. So
Yep.
there you go. Now that I'm back on the air, there you go.
Well, we're going to have a very electric finish here, Joseph, and Chili's going to tell us about it.
We're going to finish strong. LT Grace Electric, a locally owned electric service licensed in both North and South Carolina. They have provided residential and commercial electric needs for more than 38 years, 21 in the Palmetto State. The official electric company of the Strut Podcast and huge CCU supporters. Call LT Grace Electric today, 843-504-6066. Joe, while you were gone, TD kind of improvised the Amber Campbell announcement.
I did the best I could.
But I have to say, yours was way more electric than his upon your return.
And we did talk about Chauncey's and also bringing some juice and electricity with regards to correspondence on all things recruitment. We're glad to have that collaboration.
Chauncey's has been a godsend. I mean, there's a lot of good information there. Again, hey, we got another signing day coming up. I don't know how many will sign, but I mean, at least, this portal class, at least, we know who they are. We know where they're coming from. And we see our coaches out recruiting. We see all the graphics and stuff. Our coaches they're all over the state of South Carolina right now. So, looking for some Chanticleers. It's good. It's good to see us pumping that kind of stuff out again. Kind of missed it for a few years, but I'm glad to see it again.
And just like Everett Sands says, wakey, wakey.
Eggs and bakey.
Everything he does, I've got it from a mutual friend of his and ours. He does a lot of social media posts. He always begins his post, and whenever he's talking to his running back group, TD, it's always wakey, wakey. It's everything wakey, wakey.
If that's what gets the juices going, man. Again, if that's what gets it going, again, to Joe's point, the last 3 years were 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. Glad they're over.
Well, let's get Shantz up because this show is over, and we will see y'all next Monday night.
Can't tell a lie, man.
Shantz up.
Shantz up.